Migrants versus the Laws Part 2. How many people heard about this? If y'all heard about this, give me a thumbs up. If y'all did not hear about this, then give me a thumbs down.
Well, it's growing outrage after yet another video emerges showing police getting attacked by migrants.
It happened as they were trying to make an arrest at a shelter on Randall's Island. Fox 8's Morgan Mackay is live in the studio with a closer look at what happened and how the mayor is responding. Morgan?
Yes, Steve and Natasha, that video of the scuffle between migrants and police was posted to TikTok. The Adams administration is still currently reviewing whether to install metal detectors at some of these shelter locations. This was a scene last Thursday at around 11 a.m. According to the NYPD, they responded to a 911 call about a man causing a disturbance at the migrant shelter on Randall's Island. Police say they saw the migrants getting in a verbal dispute with security, so they removed him from the shelter, but not before the other migrants in the
Now, let me ask you guys a question. What do you all notice about this particular conflict? What do you notice about this altercation? Let me know in the comment section what you guys notice. It should be pretty obvious. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times the things aren't obvious. Shout out to DeAndre for being a like enforcer. Shout out to A Bit of Everything for tapping in. Appreciate you, bro.
shelter started throwing things at the officers.
Anytime you have 3,000 people who are placed in an environment that they cannot work, they have to sit around all day. Things like this have the potential to happen.
Mayor Eric Adams says around 3,000 people live at that shelter. It's also not the first time police have had to respond to a situation there.
So let me ask you guys this. Do you all see how Eric Adams is making an excuse? Now, mind you, one could say that New York City is one of the most congested cities in the United States. And according to Mayor Eric Adams' logic, that would be one of the reasons why New York City has the kind of crime that they do in the subways and in the streets, right? But for some reason, when it comes to Eric Adams, he attributes the crime to race. We've seen this before multiple times. We can pull up the receipts. But when it comes to other people, it's simply because of crowded living spaces. If you guys see these comparisons by Mayor Eric Adams and you see them as illegitimate like I do, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then please give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Catsy. Good to see you, Catsy.
Last month, a 24-year-old migrant was stabbed to death in the cafeteria tent. Cameras have already been installed at the Randall's Island site, but the Adams administration is still reviewing installing metal detectors there as well.
There's a full review happening right now of the security at all of our facilities, and particularly Randall. So if there's anything else to report out, we will certainly get back to you.
Adams on Tuesday also responded to questions about the incident that occurred at Times Square. According to police, they asked a group of migrants acting disorderly to disperse. And when one man refused, they attempted to place him under arrest, which is when a group of around a dozen migrants ganged up on the officers, kicking them repeatedly. However, according to the body cam footage, the man arrested, Henry Brito, was walking away slowly when in Spanish he called one of the officers an ugly Betty. That's when the officer grabs Brito, moves him to the wall of the building, and attempts to place him under arrest. Adams says he has not.
Now, I just want to say something, right? Y'all noticed that the migrants didn't just sit around with cell phones recording. Y'all noticed that, right? I'm just saying. Y'all noticed that, right? The migrants didn't just sit there with cell phones on. You know what I'm saying? How many people noticed that? If y'all noticed that the migrants didn't just sit there with cell phones when they boy was getting ganged up on by the cops, give me a thumbs up. If y'all just happen to miss that minor detail, then give me a thumbs down. But you should notice it now that I brought it to your attention.
The whole video, but says regardless, no one can attack police officers like this group did.
Under no circumstance should we ever give the belief to anyone, migrant or non-migrant, that you have the authorization to try to grab a police officer's gun, to kick an officer, to fight an officer. We should never do that.
Now, according to the mayor's office, they do have security cameras installed at most of the hotels housing migrants.
Now, what I find interesting about it is that these migrants aren't taking stuff off the police. But at the same time, the police ain't taking their guns off to defend themselves against the migrants either. So now here's my question. What does that tell you about what we got to do in the United States? Because this is a clear-cut piece of evidence that proves that the United States values the lives of people who aren't even citizens more than they value the lives of Black Americans. As a Black American, that is a declaration of war against your right to sovereignty and to exist in the United States. But my question is, how many people feel that after this declaration of war, people have been moving accordingly? If you feel that people have been moving accordingly, give me a thumbs up. Or if you feel that people talk a good game and they've just been, kind of ignoring the declaration of war that's clearly obvious, give me a thumbs down.
3 of the large tent shelters, including the one on Randall's Island and at St. Bridget, the location currently serving as a reticketing center for migrants looking for a bed after their 30 or 60-day shelter limit is up. Steve and Natasha?
Did you guys notice how none of the migrants ended up unalive?